we binge streaming.
Okay.
You're where you're looking at.
Did you take my ink stick?
I did not. I have my own ink stick.
Okay. I got it. Katie's Homestead is here. Hey, Katie Cat.
Of course.
What's up, Demon Slayer, Lonely Prepper? They're pouring in now, y'all. Woo! Hey, y'all. Cliffy, Suburban Hillbilly. Oop, got a warning letter. Hey, Mama. Selena. Wendy.
Hey, Tawana. Hey, Tanya.
Buffering.
I don't see any buffering.
I think you might need to refresh there, Miss Teresa.
Hey, Candy, I got your message today. That was pretty cool.
Kiwi.
Probably, simply.
Yep.
A little bit.
Hey, do you see what's up there in the corner? Right yonder, right there. Here, hold on. Whoop. See that? Woo. Sup, Grandpa?
It's buffering. I haven't seen it go. Pull out your phone. Fuss. Is it still buffering, or was it just like for a second?
Get off the internet.
Nobody's on.
Now you're not.
Alright,
Okay.
waiting on everybody to kind of pour in. We'll give it till about 9:05. Okay, so it was just for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
All good now.
Tacos are coming to the house.
Tacos. Okay.
Not buffering in Arizona. Okay.
Well, as long as it ain't buffering in Arizona, we're good.
Yeah, we're good now. See? Told you, Uncle KK.
Mm-hmm.
Works really well. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding when I said that I had something dead in my car in the vent, and I put that lemongrass in there, and it helped a lot.
Sup, Brad?
Hey, Brad.
Okay, so you about ready to kick it?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Big Bear Homestead is proud to give to you the Oil Lady.
That sounds kind of bad. Okay. Hey, Winter Bass.
Okay, you're not.
No, I want to say
No.
I said 9:05. See? Amanda's here. Artie's here. I Wear Aprons is here.
Yes, she missed about being tacoed. Grandpa, she was very happy about getting tacoed.
She was confused, but like the rest of us. Brenda, I did a show last week on lemongrass. It's in our video. Is it in a playlist? Have you put together an essential oil playlist? Oh, you dirty rat.
I think so.
Anyway,
I don't know.
if you go back and look, Brenda, we did a full hour talk on lemongrass. Teresa.
Yep. So.
Are you counting down till 9:05? Is that what you're looking at in the corner down there? Okay.
I'm waiting till 9:05.
Alright, guys.
Of course, I'm still waiting for my tea.
We're going to... You want to remind him real quick?
I sure is thirsty.
Master Cat. Alright. Perk family's here. Yay!
Okay, so 9:05.
Alright.
Okay.
So,
without further ado,
we're going to talk about peppermint tonight. And I know that seems pretty mundane because everybody uses peppermint in some shape or form. Whether it's just for a peppermint that you use after dinner or to freshen your breath or in your toothpaste or whatever. But tonight I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about the actual oil and what benefits and some of the issues you can have with it too. Alright, so the first thing is I always like to do a little bit of a history. Peppermint's actually kind of had some cool history that I found about it. It's the oldest herb used in European history. It was always used in Chinese and Japanese folk medicine. They used it way ancient Chinese and Japanese folk medicine. But the really cool thing that I found out was in Greek mythology, there is a nymph. Now, I looked in a couple of different places. Some say water, some say wood nymph. Either way. But she was beautiful. And she caught the eye of Hades, or Juno, depending on which one you go by mythology-wise. And Persephone, his wife, got really jealous. And so she pulled out a can of whoop honey on on this nymph and decided to start stepping on her. And her name was Minthe, M-I-N-T-H-E. Sometimes it's spelled M-E-N-T-H-E. Anyways, but every time that Persephone stepped on her, it released this. Oh, I'm sorry. She started stepping on her, and Minthe turned into a creeping plant on the ground. And every time Persephone would step on her, it would release this sweet smell. So that's kind of the mythology story behind mint. Also, documents back to 1000 BC, they have found mint oil still in Egyptian pyramids. So that was pretty cool too. Aristotle, I was a philosophy major, and one of the things in my studies over the years, Aristotle actually referred to peppermint as an aphrodisiac. So, so you got all these different mentions of mint. It's been used on and off throughout all of history.
I bet Brad's gonna be trying to win a bottle tonight.
Okay, so what is mint good for? Well, the first thing, and actually before I do that, let me go ahead and put out my disclaimer now. If you're pregnant, don't get excited about these oils or this oil, because this is another one of those oils that could be a problem for a pregnant woman. So just gonna go ahead and throw that one out there now. First things first, peppermint is really good for aching muscles. You'll find it in a soothing blend. For doTERRA, it's called Deep Blue. That's one that you use to put on sore muscles, aching muscles, hips, back, anything like that. That's really good for that. Peppermint's good for that. What it does is it interrupts the pain signal that goes to the brain. So, and it's an analgesic.
A what?
Analgesic, which is the fancy word for a pain reliever. So basically it works really good for pain relief. I know we've had people in the past ask about fibromyalgia. This is definitely an oil that can help with the symptoms of fibromyalgia. And also myofascial pain syndrome. That one also as well it'll work with.
Brad wants to know how you spell that word.
Which one?
The big one that I had to ask what it was about.
Analgesic? Really?
He asked, how do you spell that? The man could be taking notes.
No. Because the first 1, 2, 3, 4 letters.
I'm just saying. He could be taking...
ANALGESIC.
Ha! Palmetto, you were wrong.
Anyway. Okay, so let's move on. It's also good for joint therapy. It works almost like icy hot. It, like I said before, it's in Deep Blue. What is so funny?
Brad called me a jerk.
Okay, so you can take peppermint and lavender, put them in a bath, and what that will do is it'll soothe. The lavender will soothe, but the peppermint will help release the tension of the muscles. What you can do is also do a peppermint and lavender oil rub on your back, And what that will do is it almost will simulate like, I don't know anybody here used to be a jock where you used to have to do an ice bath wherever you would try to shock your muscles. This does the same kind of thing without you getting cold and wet. So it actually works out really well to do that as opposed to having to worry about that kind of stuff. Stop. Okay. Another one. Sinus, sore throat, flu, anything like that. We've talked before about expectorant. Anybody know what an expectorant is?
No.
Yeah, they do. Just wait. You'll start seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Tell me.
You're actually going to wait?
Mm-hmm. You seriously don't have anybody saying anything?
Teresa says me, but that doesn't...
What is an expectorant?
Lung butter comes up.
There it is. Lung butter. I love it. Who is that says that? That's somebody's term. Who is that?
That was Kiwi.
Yeah. Somebody said it last time when we were talking about expectorant. It works really good for coughs, colds, asthma, bronchitis, anything like that. Even, I think I read somewhere tonsillitis, it works really good as well. Okay, so here's another one. Let's switch. Go on a different track for just a second. Peppermint is really good for curbing hunger pains. It's found in the metabolism blend or metabolic blend. For doTERRA, it's called Slim and Sassy. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the other companies, but basically, you could take a glass of water, a glass of tea, whatever, drop a couple of drops of the blend in there, or if you're just doing the peppermint, it would just be one drop. And keep in mind that one drop of peppermint oil is the equivalent of like 20 cups of peppermint tea. It's really strong. It does not take much. I'm sure you guys have heard our stories before. Jason and I went to Waffle House one night. We were sitting enjoying our coffee, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of peppermint oil in our coffee. And we dropped like what, maybe 2 drops in just a regular coffee cup. And I don't think we ever got the oil out of that cup. It was pretty powerful. But what you can do is I do this a lot at work. Like, I'll eat breakfast really early before I go to work, but then sometimes I won't get to go to lunch till like 1 o'clock. And so I'll put just a little bit of peppermint in my water, and believe it or not, it actually does help the pain, or like it helps you not have that little reminder in your belly that it's time to eat lunch, if that makes sense. So works out really well.
So Simply Circus says he's been spraying peppermint around his house to help curb his cravings for cigarettes because he's trying to smoke.
Trying to stop smoking.
That's what I said. Trying to stop smoking.
I could believe that because, well, without getting too deep into stuff, eating and smoking in some psychological realms, a lot of people attribute that to an oral fixation, and so it would make sense that the peppermint would work to curb that kind of a craving, just like the hunger. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, so energy drinks. I know a lot of people. I've got one right now. I really should have just huffed some peppermint, but I chose not to. Peppermint is a stimulant. So if you are tired, or you need to pull an all-nighter to study, or you're working third shift and you're starting to feel tired, you can take, or if you're on a road trip, let's say you're on a road trip, you have to drive at night, a little bit of peppermint in one of those little napkins and put it in your air vent works really well to keep everybody awake. Anybody with chronic fatigue syndrome, this is another way to help you with your focus and concentration, because again, like I said, it's a stimulant. To kind of piggyback off of that, even though it's way later in my notes, ADHD, autism, peppermint works really good for providing focus and helping with being alert and concentration. You can for a child or an adult, it doesn't matter. You can spray just a little bit of peppermint on their shirt. What we like to do in our homeschool environment, now granted, I don't have children that are diagnosed ADD, ADHD, autism, anything like that, but everybody can benefit from focus and attention and being alert. And we diffuse lemon and peppermint together because they're both they both help with focus and concentration. So you have a question? I thought I saw you write one.
Yes. I didn't get to see who. Let me see if I can scroll up. Deep South came in and everybody was like, "Hello, Deep South." And then I answered Wayne's.
Okay.
But Suburban Hillbilly wants to know: do all mints have RHE same medical properties?
How about the? It's probably supposed to be the instead of RHE.
Okay, well,
THE.
you know.
The same medicinal properties. I would assume so. Peppermint is actually a blend of two different mints, and it contains menthol in it. I would assume that at some level they probably all have similar properties. But the thing is, you have to understand, we're talking about the essential oil, which means that it's been concentrated, and if you get a good solid oil that hasn't been worn down, or I hate to use the word stepped on, but it's been diluted. A lot of times you'll see oils that are on the internet or whatever that have actually been bought as a therapeutic grade oil, and then they will open it up and add a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil. And then you can buy caps that still have the little ring around them so that it looks like it hasn't, the seal hasn't been broken. So you got to be careful. Find somebody you trust to buy these oils from, because even on Amazon, I did some research. One of our viewers kind of hit me up and was asking me about stuff, and he was looking on Amazon, and I didn't realize that you could buy them on Amazon. Well, then a little bit further research, I realized these are actually third parties that are buying these oils, and then they thin them out, and then they put that new seal lid on there, and so it looks like it's the same stuff, but it's actually been watered down or diluted. So be careful with that. Know who you're buying from or what you're buying before you get it. So that's my 2 seconds on that. Let's go back to focus and concentration. So, yeah, with ADD, ADHD, it helps. Another thing you can do, I don't know about other companies, but I know doTERRA is starting to offer beadlets. They're these little bitty, they look like a BB, but it's actually like a vegetable capsule, kind of little small circle. And you can take them as like a little, I don't want to say pill, but they're just little bitty small circles. And you can use the peppermint for concentration or whatever, doing it that way. So you can take it orally. This is one that you can ingest, obviously. A lot of people, and that's one thing I just realized, in all of my talk on all this stuff that I talked about, I never mentioned in here flavor. There's so many different things that peppermint can do that I totally forgot about flavor. Okay, so let's go back. We're going to go do something different. Peppermint is good for your scalp. Couple different ways. One, you can put it in your shampoo and kind of scrub it into your scalp. It'll definitely give you that cooling sensation, but be careful because we've done this at home. When the water rinses and that oil starts to go down over your body, it can make you really cold and cool. What are you laughing at? That's so funny.
I just put Brad in timeout.
Why did you put Brad in timeout?
He was being mean to me.
To you. Okay. So.
Plus, Krista told me to.
Oh, okay. So yeah, be careful, because as that oil runs off of your hair and onto the rest of your body, like I literally, like one time my daughter wanted to do it, and I forgot to tell her just to kind of be aware of the water going down. And she scrubbed it in her hair, and she got it all in there, and she let it sit for a little while, and then she was all excited that her hair felt, her scalp felt really cool. And it was in the summertime, so, you know, that helps to relieve some of the heat. And then the water started to roll off onto her, and she got out of the shower, and she was instantly, you remember, she was like shivering. She was like, oh my God, I'm so cold. And I was like, oh, she got that peppermint oil all over her body. So, really cool for that, but just be aware that it will naturally kind of cool you off a little bit. Another thing, you can put this into your routine in the morning. I don't know about everybody else, but I like to take a shower in the morning when I have a shower. But
I'm gonna put you in timeout.
it's nice to put a little bit of the peppermint oil in your shampoo to kind of get your morning going. It's, again, I said it was a stimulant, and that's exactly what this would do. It would help you get up, get moving in the morning, kind of get you awake, and help drive that focus. It'll also help, it's got antiseptic properties, so you can add peppermint oil to some olive oil and a comb, and it will help kill lice. So you can use it for that. It also, and all of you lovely guys that I love so much, like Wayne, this actually promotes hair growth. Sorry, Wayne, I had to do it. So they've done a lot of studies. They've done a lot of studies, and they've tried different oils and different medications, including Rogaine or minoxidil, whatever way you want to call it. And they've actually found that peppermint oil works better than minoxidil. So, anybody who's looking to thicken up their hair, promote more growth, definitely a good idea to use a shampoo and put a little bit of peppermint oil. It's not an overnight fix. It does take three or 4 months to see some significant growth, but it will help with that. You okay, baby?
Yeah.
Is everybody else okay?
No, everybody's still dying. Somebody just said you made their keyboard an alcoholic.
Okay, so
Wayne hasn't said a thing yet.
is he even in here?
I don't know.
Oh, he might not even be in here. Okay, so down in the South, we deal with pollen in the summertime or in the springtime. It gets so bad that the air looks like a yellow cloud, right? It gets really bad. Like everybody's car is covered in it. And obviously with all of that pollen, a lot of people deal with allergies. I said before, peppermint is an expectorant, so it actually will help with any of the crud that you accumulate from any kind of allergies. If you add clove and eucalyptus to it, put the 3 together, that actually works together. All 3 of those will help to combat any of the allergy symptoms that you can have.
Teresa Dean just said bald lives matter.
So another thing, how the peppermint works, you can actually inhale the peppermint, and what you do is just put 1 or 2 drops in your palm, cup your hands together, and then put it over your nose and kind of cup it over your nose, and then take a deep breath in. Peppermint is so cold, like when you inhale it, you'll feel it down through the back of your throat and even down into your chest. It will definitely open everything up. It'll relax the nasal muscles, the muscles inside your nasal cavity, so it actually helps everything to kind of just flow out and get out of your system so you don't have to worry about it. Another thing that's really cool about this is this kind of works like an antihistamine. But the biggest problem with a lot of antihistamines is they make you tired, they make you drowsy. But peppermint won't do that. Peppermint, again, is a stimulant, so you're not going to have to worry about that. Now, while we're on that, let me go ahead and say, it is a stimulant, so don't use it at bedtime. Because if you do that, then you might as well just go check out and see if we're running Insomniac Club that night. Because it's very hard to kind of come down from that. It works so well at keeping you awake and alert that it will take a little while before you naturally will kind of even out a little bit.
Okay, a Carrie Valman, will it cleanse lungs? My husband just quit smoking. First of all,
Good job.
for your husband.
Yes. One thing I do want to say about this, peppermint is a vasoconstrictor, meaning that it takes your veins and actually closes them up some. So if you have high blood pressure, please be careful with peppermint. Because obviously with high blood pressure, we want those veins to be open more, not closed more. So definitely be careful if you're using peppermint with high blood pressure. You want to kind of take it slow and easy.
He's 9 days clean. That's awesome.
Very good. I will do more research on that. I would have to say, just from inhaling peppermint before, one thing I would check is a respiratory blend. By doTERRA's name for it is called Breathe, with an E on the end. Yeah, Breathe. Yeah, with the E on the end. It's very powerful. It's got cardamom and a couple other things in it, but you could definitely feel the peppermint when you inhale that Breathe. You can feel it go through your nose, down through the back of your throat, and all the way down into your chest.
Bess, send us an email at bigbearfarmsoils@hotmail.com.
So definitely, if you want to know more about that email address that he just gave out, definitely send me an email on that, and I can help you find some more things to look for that. Okay, so talked about the antihistamine. Okay, so along with that springtime, we've got the pollen, and then come the skeeters and the ants, right? So we get mosquitoes, we get ants, and Jason's favorite, spiders. All of that stuff comes out. Peppermint is good for the insect bites. You start to get itchy. It works really well to kind of cool that area so that it kind of takes away the pain and the itch. And then if you want to, you could take peppermint and lavender. They work really well together. You'll hear me say that again and again, peppermint and lavender. And it's because peppermint is a stimulant and lavender is actually a calming. So you put them together, even it out, and everything works well. What's got you looking?
Wayne, are you being for real?
What did he say? What did he say?
We'll talk to Wayne on Skype. If Wayne's being for real. If you're being for real, Wayne, we'll Skype you after this.
Okay. So peppermint and lavender work really well together for insect bites. It'll cool. You'll get that calming sensation, but also that cool sensation that'll take away the pain. Remember I was talking about before how it blocks the pain receptors, so it's going to take, and it's an antihistamine too, so it's going to work really well for that. This is my favorite one.
After this is over, we'll talk.
Peppermint is great as a fever reducer. Now this is especially important for children, because we don't want to be pumping our kids full of children. If I had known this when my kids were little, I mean, one, the amount of money I would have saved, but two, the amount of heartache I would have saved. When our kids were really small, we had a couple of times where we got up really high in fever, and we had to do what some people will call it different things, but I call it candy flipping, because I used to have friends back in my old life that used to do drugs, and that was what they called it, was candy flipping, when they do different things. But anyway, what we would do is, and everybody knows this, you do Tylenol, and then 2 hours later, 3 hours later, you do ibuprofen, and then 2 hours later, Tylenol, 2 hours later, ibuprofen, and so on and so forth, or 3 hours, whatever it is. But you keep them going so that you can level out that fever, so that there's always something in their system. Well, with peppermint, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about just pumping all of these drugs into your child that's getting broken down inside the liver and the kidneys, right? Like, it's the liver, I think. So you're damaging your young child's body to keep their fever down. And don't get me started on fevers, but anyway, we never did any kind of medication until they got up over 102. We were always told that 102 was a healthy fever, so we leave them alone at that point because that's the body's natural way of fighting off an infection. It's telling you it's fighting off the infection through the fever. But what you can do when you get up above that 102 mark is you can put, and this is the thing, with kids, you kind of want to dilute it a little bit. A couple of, like a teaspoon of carrier oil, so whether that's olive oil, coconut oil, even if you have to use whatever oil, and then put the peppermint in. You can use a lotion if you want, that's fine. Because peppermint is so strong, you can get a skin sensitivity to it. Some people do, some people don't. We've never had a problem with it, but it would stand to reason that kids that are younger and their skin's a little bit younger, you might have issue with that. So you can put it on their feet. This kind of goes along with it, not just as a fever reducer, but during the summertime, we would take a bottle, just a regular spray bottle, and put a little bit of peppermint oil in there, shake it up real good, and while we were out doing our morning chores and it's still really hot, we could spray each other with it, and the water and the oil would get all over our arms, legs, whatever. And one, it would act as a mosquito repellent, but it would also keep us cool. It would help cool us down, just like I was talking about in the shower. It helps keep you cool. But back to the fever reducer, you would just take just a little bit of coconut oil, a little bit of peppermint oil. You could put it on their neck. You could put it on the bottoms of their feet. Just kind of cool them off. It helps a lot with that. It'll bring it down 1 or 2 degrees. But again, you'll have to repeat it every couple of hours. One thing I've noticed, the normal time for me anyway is about 2 hours. It starts to lose some of its potency after about 2 hours. I have to repeat it. On that same thought process, fever reducer, but also hot flashes. Any women with hot flashes, this also will help relieve some of that hot feeling. It will help you cool down a little bit.
Did we get an email from Susan Carmichael?
Yes, I told you about with her church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Susan, we did.
Yes. Okay. So that goes to the next thing I was talking about.
Will it keep chiggers away? JRC Homestead in Texas.
I would have to check and see. I know that it will work against spiders, mosquitoes, ants, mice. Not sure about chiggers. I can look it up. Not positive on that one. I would assume so, because a chigger is a parasite, is it not? Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely it would. I was looking it up. So some of the things, like a lot of the stuff that I read, it talks in a lot of general principles. So it talks about it being an anti-parasitic. So yes, if a chigger is a parasite, which yes it is, then I would assume yes it would work against chiggers. But again, like I've said before, some of these oils, for some people it'll work. This oil will work for that. And for that same person, this oil won't work for them. So we could have, for Jason, lavender works great on Jason. But then Kitty, lavender doesn't do a thing for her. It just smells nice to her. It does not have any kind of soothing, calming, sedative properties for her.
A lady named Cindy, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce her last name. What benefits does a peppermint, rosemary, and orange essential oil soap have?
Okay, so that rosemary and what was the other one?
Peppermint,
rosemary, and
hold on, let me get back up there to it.
Because I hear a lot of times of wild orange.
Orange.
The wild orange. Okay, so a lot of times peppermint and rosemary are used together in shampoos. The orange as well. Wild orange and peppermint are both stimulants, so it works for that. Rosemary, I have to do a little bit of more studying on rosemary. I use it a lot for flavor. We've used it for something else. What else have we used rosemary for?
I'm not sharing anything that we have used.
For pain, I believe. I think we've used it for your legs. But, okay, so rosemary, wild orange. Okay, so rosemary helps kind of relax and take away the tension. wild orange stimulant. So again, rosemary has kind of got some of the same properties as lavender. So you can kind of swap those out. You have the stimulant versus the soothing. You mix them together. One, it's going to smell incredible. Because the orange and the rosemary are going to smell really good. And then peppermint just naturally smells good together with it. So
Teresa Smith wants to know how you use peppermint to control mice.
cotton balls. That's the best way that I've ever found to do it. Go get you some cheap cotton balls at Walmart or wherever you go, Dollar Tree. Put a couple of oil drops on a cotton ball and put them in the areas where you've either seen feces or chew marks, anything like that. Put them back in corners. And they just don't like the smell of it, so they'll stay away. And then I would just, every couple of days, revisit the area and see if it still, just smell the cotton ball and see if it still has the potency. If it does, great. If not, just drop another oil drop on it. Peppermint is pretty reasonable in price, so a little bit goes a long way. One drop is good. Most of these bottles are like 250 drops, so you're not talking about a lot of money to put just a drop here or there.
You got to put the peppermint oil on the cotton ball, Steve.
What did he say?
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, you just take the cotton ball, put it in the cotton ball, and then just put the cotton balls throughout wherever, in nooks and crannies, up underneath. I know a lot of times they like to get in the backs of cabinets and stuff. You can put it in the back corner of your cabinet, back behind your refrigerator, things like that. It works really well. So that's how you do that. Okay, so peppermint also promotes healthy skin. That's one of the reasons why people put peppermint and rosemary into their shampoo. It promotes a healthy scalp, so it'll relieve all, if you have any kind of dandruff or anything like that, dry scalp, it'll help with that. It's also good for eczema, psoriasis, even acne. Some people will take just a little bit of peppermint oil and a carrier oil, and you can rub it on there and just let it kind of, it does that whole soothing, it helps to regenerate the growth of the skin as well, so it helps with that. What?
Nothing.
Oh, you look like you had a question.
Nope.
Okay. We talked about this earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. So a lot of times people see bee balm, bee lip balm, the beeswax, right? So one of the best lip balms I've ever had was Burt's Beeswax with peppermint oil. And one of the reasons for that, and I used to use it a lot when I would get canker sores or whatever, what do people call that? Cold sore. Herpes, cold sore. I use, for a cold sore, I put just a little bit of melaleuca and a little bit of peppermint, and that works really well for a cold sore. It helps to heal it, or to, I don't want to say heal. It helps to treat the area. It gives it that cool sensation, so it kind of takes away some of the pain again, but then the melaleuca will also help with the skin itself.
Wayne, I've been watching all of this, brother, and after this is over, we're going to have a Skype, and two things are going to happen. One, I'm going to take you right there up underneath this wing. You and I are going to work through this together, and we're going to get you some oils and such to help. You don't need to be doing none of that surgery. So you and I are we're gonna take this donkey and we're gonna kick it.
Okay. Peppermint is also an antimicrobial. It can help with tonsillitis, bronchitis. It's even been shown to to work against E. coli, staph, Shigella, which is has to do with flies. I can't remember it.
Okay, well, you're thinking about Suburban Hillbillies wants to know, are there any oils that you should not mix with peppermint?
Ooh.
Oregano.
No, I can't think of any that you shouldn't mix with it. I'm going to tell you a couple of medications I wouldn't mix with it in just a minute. And only because, it's not because they're going to have these huge interactions. It's just a lot of the properties that peppermint has. You just don't want to take any medications that also have those same properties, because you don't want to overdo it. Okay, is basically where that's going with that. Okay, so another really big one, peppermint is great for headaches. I'll tell this story again. I told it the first time we were talking about oils. One time I got really sick, and being really sick, I threw up a lot, and I have hypoglycemia, and if I don't eat, I will get a really bad headache. Well, my body doesn't say, hey, hypoglycemia, you can just chill out, don't worry about this, we're sick. I still get the headache. And so what would happen is I can't keep anything down. I can't take any kind of medicine for the headache. So when we first started doing all of the oil treatment stuff, I had a really bad bout with some kind of stomach bug. I mean, it rocked my world. And I couldn't keep any food down, and I couldn't even keep fluids down. And so I was dehydrated, no sugar, got a really bad headache, and long story short, I used peppermint to treat my headache, and it took the headache away to where all I had to worry about was the stomach part of it. And actually, had I known then, and we did use this a little bit, peppermint does help with nausea, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But if I had known to kind of put that over my abdomen, that probably would have helped a little bit too. I actually ended up using the On Guard, which is a protective blend, and we diffused oregano throughout the house to kind of kill anything that was going through the house, which worked really well. I was the only person that got sick. Everybody else stayed nice and healthy. But anyway, so what you can do, the thing with peppermint is it improves circulation, and it also can help heal your gut and relax the muscles. And those are all things that, if they're not going well, if your circulation's not doing well, if your stomach's not doing well, if your muscles are tense, all of those can cause tension headaches. So that's why peppermint works really well. You can put peppermint on the back of your head or on your temples, but be very careful. Don't get the oil really close to your eyes, because if you do, trust me, you'll know it. Your eyes will start to water, they'll start to burn. If that happens, just take a little bit of olive oil, coconut oil, whatever, and just put it down around, up above your eyebrows or down below your cheekbones, and it will actually pull the oil away from your eye. What kind of jokes you got going on there?
Wait just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel so much better now.
For who did you just time out?
Wayne.
So, for a headache, what you can actually do is layer lavender, frankincense, and peppermint. And the peppermint will actually do the cooling sensation, help to open up everything. You've already got one. But anyway, that's my thing on headaches. Works really well for headaches. What?
And there's my message.
Okay, so I talked about hair growth already. That's fitting that you would put him in timeout right then.
Well, Wayne, he brought up oregano, and he said it's great for hemorrhoids.
Oh.
And I left it alone, and then he kept on. So.
Oh, that's so not cool.
So he wanted to be in timeout again.
Nacho.
Wayne is not happy until he at least gets in timeout at least 3 times during a live stream.
Okay. All right. So we already talked about hair growth. Peppermint's in a lot of hair products.
Teresa Smith, if I was new to essential oils, would peppermint be one of the first oils to get?
Absolutely. Lavender, lemon, and peppermint would be my first 3 that I would try. And that's such a popular choice that even with doTERRA, they actually have an introductory set that is those 3 oils. And that's why, because those 3 are very popular and useful oils.
Timothy Johnson, what's the best book on oils?
This one right here. It's called The Essential Life. It reminds me of school. Can you put that up there just a little bit closer? That is my essential oil Bible. It is a hardback book. It has lots and lots of information in it. Breaks down every oil. Breaks down a lot of the different systems in your body, the endocrine system, all your different systems, your nervous system, and it tells you what oils work really well in those situations. It also talks about for your pets, your house, recipes, all that kind of stuff.
Teresa, please, I'm not even going to try your last name. You're asking about a startup kit. Please email us at bigbearfarmsoils@hotmail.com.
I'd be more than happy to help you out. There's a couple of people probably on the chat that we've already...
Donna wants to know, do they have other essential oil mints besides peppermint?
No. Oh, well, no. Yeah, the spearmint. I think there's spearmint. And then there's wintergreen, which is not a mint, but the smell reminds me a lot of a mint. But wintergreen also. Okay. Where am I at? Oh, okay, so another good thing. Okay, so we went through the spring, and now we're into summertime. Sunburn. People get sunburned in the summertime. Aloe works great. A little bit of aloe, a little bit of peppermint, put them together, and you're golden. It'll help cool, and then the aloe will help add more moisture back to your skin. And so will the peppermint. Because it's the oil, it'll help hydrate your burnt skin, and it helps relieve the pain. Remember, because it's also an analgesic. If you add a little bit of coconut oil and a little bit of lavender, again, the peppermint and the lavender, put them together, makes for a really good sunburn relief.
Arnie wants to know, are you going to get into the blends later on?
You mean like in classes? Is that what he's asking about?
I don't know.
I am definitely going to talk about the blends. What I was going to mention is in these, I've got like one more page left. Well, I gotta hurry up. I'll tell you all the different blends that the peppermint is in. Okay, so another really big one that we use peppermint for here is tummy trouble. Anybody with IBS, any kind of bloating, indigestion, it helps reduce gas. Peppermint works really good for that. I mean, that's why they serve dinner mints at restaurants. It helps, the peppermint oil actually helps relieve any kind of indigestion, bloating, anything like that.
So would you call the peppermint essential oil or peppermint the duct tape of essential oil?
It could be one of them. Lemongrass, I think we found out last week, was another one. So obviously peppermint works good for fresh breath. I don't really have to go over that one too much.
It's back.
People use it in toothpaste, mouthwash, whatever. Any of y'all that watch Doug and Stacy, she's made her own tooth powder or whatever. It has peppermint essential oil in it. It also helps to reduce cavities. So if you make your own toothpaste, peppermint essential oil works really well for that. We talked a minute ago about alleviating nausea. They've actually started trying to use peppermint oil for chemo patients to help with the nausea that comes from chemotherapy. You just basically, they take and rub it behind the ears or they diffuse it. I think Kay was telling me that she knows of some hospital that's actually trying to start doing that, using the peppermint oil for chemo patients. Okay, I talked about decongestant. You can, with the peppermint, you can actually add just eucalyptus to that. Peppermint, eucalyptus, that's a huge decongestant. That's definitely going to open you up. If one doesn't, the other will, but you put them together and you're really going to get everything flowing real good. Another one, this is another kid thing, colic. Anybody who's ever had to fight colic, just like I said before with digestion, this is no different for kids. Babies get colic, it's gas, it's no different than big people gas.
They were just talking about me having gas.
Again, though, you have to be very careful. You have to dilute this really, It might even be something like I was talking about where with the lavender we used to put it on a blanket. This might be where you wrap, when you've got the child wrapped up or maybe on your clothing, something like that, where it would still be able to be diffused in the air. You could put it on a carrier oil and put just a little bit, rub on the belly. Works wonders. Also with that, it works really good for car sickness or motion sickness. Because of that whole nausea thing of it alleviating nausea, works really well for that. Carol, if we don't have Digest Zen, which is one of the blends, digestion blend, she'll use just plain peppermint. She will smell peppermint. Jason's done it before. If he gets indigestion from something he ate, just a little bit of a smell of peppermint will usually calm that down.
My sugar mama says, can I put drops of oil in a pan and heat it over the stove and let the steam go through the house?
I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. What I would do is anywhere, whether it's a Dollar Tree, a Walmart, they have these little, we don't have ours. Let me go get it real quick. I'll show you. One of these ceramic, like almost like a potpourri thing, and in the back you put a tea light right here, and then what you do is you put the oil in here, just a couple of drops, and then we put some water in it, and then what happens is the oil sits on top of the water, and as the water heats up, it will help diffuse that oil through the air.
Okay, we have, I'm assuming she's new because I've never seen her before. Granny's Homestead says essential oils can cause seizures in kids. So you have to do your research, and it should not be used under the age of 1.
Right. You have to, that's why I was saying you have to be very, very careful with that. You can diffuse in the air as opposed to putting it physically on them. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely right.
JRC wants to know if you can make your own peppermint oil.
Again, you could. It wouldn't be as pure as the stuff you can get from some of the companies, because you would have to put it into, like, say, an olive oil or something like that. So your oil is only going to be as good as the carrier oil that you put it in. So you could, but I don't know that the potency would be near as well, because the peppermint is steam distilled, I think. So you're extracting all the oils right out of the leaf, as opposed to taking the peppermint, soaking it in like olive oil or something like that. It's not going to be near as potent. Let's see. Okay, so another thing that peppermint is good for, we talked about it helping with cavities. It's also good for relieving sore gums. So, say like my daughter that is about to lose a tooth. You could take just a little bit of carrot oil with like a drop, less than a drop of peppermint oil, put it in there and rub on the gum, and it will help with the pain from a sore tooth, or from a tooth that's about to come out. Also, anybody who's got dentures, they've got new dentures, things like that, that would actually irritate the gum line, you can do that as well. And it works good for that. Let's see. It's also antifungal. It's been shown to work good against Candida, which is a yeast that lives in the mouth and in the intestines. So like thrush, anything like that. Peppermint actually has been shown to work really good against the fungal. It's antifungal, so it works really good against Candida.
Like the country Canada?
No, not Canada. Candida. People call it different things. Another thing is they've shown that peppermint. They're doing a lot of studies with peppermint being cytotoxic, meaning that it will attack cells, specifically cancer cells. They're using it. They're looking to see what it does in inhibiting prostate cancer growth. Also, lung cancer, leukemia, gastric cancer, pancreatic, bladder. I mean, they're kind of taking a shotgun approach to see. So that'll be something interesting to see how that's worked in, because it can be cytotoxic and kill those kind of cells. It's something to definitely look into. It can also be used as a preventative. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so I was talking about earlier that pregnant women should not use this. Here's the moment where the guys do this again. So I'm going to give you a second if you don't want to hear it. Because peppermint is a stimulant, it also will stimulate menstruation, which means that's why pregnant women should not be using peppermint. However, they have used it to, and I'm hoping Krista's still in here. This is the part where I wanted Krista to hear. They've actually used peppermint to help with lactation reduction. So as you're starting to wean your child, they will use it in a carrier oil and rub it across the chest onto the mammary glands to help with that. Now everybody's going, why are you telling Krista that? Well, the application is that you can use that on your cow. You can take that carrier oil with just a little bit of peppermint and start rubbing that on her udder, and that should help decrease her lactation a little bit. I told you I would find that out for you.
I don't think they're here. I think they left.
Well, she'll watch it later. That's fine. And I'll shoot her a message. But so anybody that's trying to dry up their cow, that's another thing that you can try. They've actually given, or not given, they've actually had breastfeeding moms after they have a C-section, because one of the things that it does is it helps relieve nausea. And when you have surgery, coming out of general anesthesia, a lot of people will get nauseous, and so you can use peppermint for that nature. But what they'll also do is, a brand new breastfeeding mom, you give her just a whiff of peppermint. You don't lather her in it, and it helps with that, so that when they come out of that C-section, they don't lose all that time, those first bonding moments, because they feel sick. They can calm kind of. So that was one of the studies that was done where they used breastfeeding moms after C-section to see if it would alleviate the nausea, and it actually did better than is it Phenergan or whatever that they give people for nausea. What?
Nothing. Keep going.
Okay. So here's the part
we got nobody behind us.
Here's the part I was getting ready to tell y'all. Peppermint can interact with some medications. And again, it's because, like I said, the properties that it has, the things that it does, these medications do those same things, so you don't want to take them on top of each other. So things like Zofran, Prilosec, Prevacid, Protonix, Pepcid, Nexium, anything like that. Also diazepam and Valium, ibuprofen, Celebrex, Allegra, all of these things have those properties that we were talking about that peppermint has, so you don't want to overdo it. Just imagine that these interactions are due to the properties being, they're the same thing. So I don't want to say you're overdosing, but you just don't want to put your body through too much of the same thing at one time. And anything like Tums, Rolaids, you don't want to do both. You don't want to take the peppermint and then back it up with Tums. You want to do one or the other. One thing, to keep in mind is it also can reduce the absorption of iron. So if you're anemic, you want to be careful with this as well. There was some medication that I was reading. It said that you have to be, even any of these medicines that I just mentioned, if you're going to take those, make sure you have at least 3 hours before you use any peppermint, or vice versa. Use a peppermint and then at least 3 hours after that before you take any of the medication, so that you don't have those major interactions like that. Like I said before, make sure that you dilute the first couple of times at least, because it can cause skin sensitivity depending on what you got going on.
Kitty wants to know how much peppermint should you use.
For?
That's all she put.
Yeah, I need to know what for. What were we just talking about? Yeah, we were talking about a bunch of stuff. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that, some of the home applications for peppermint, obviously a bug repellent, spiders, mice, cockroaches, anything like that. Peppermint works really well for that. A foot soak after a long day at work or being on your feet, running, whatever. Peppermint, Epsom salts, and some hot water works great. Toothpaste, you can make your own toothpaste, like I said before, or your own mouthwash with a little bit of peppermint oil. Works really good to freshen your breath, but also works against cavities.
She says internally.
I have to look that up. I think there are different
Bluegrass
recipes.
Bound Homestead said he's been listening but multitasking. Roxanne Author says, please do a more depth intro on this in the future.
In depth? How? Okay.
I think she's just talking about oils in general.
Oh, okay. Also, peppermint works good for pet deodorizer because of the smell that it has. It kind of will overpower the smell of a pet. Like when you go to wash your dog, if you want to put a couple of peppermint drops or maybe just one drop of peppermint oil in the water, works really well for a pet deodorizer.
Night, go for green.
It's also good as a disinfectant. You can put peppermint with lime or peppermint with melaleuca. Both of those work really well in a spray bottle. Like I said before, spiders, that works really well to keep them away. The different blends that peppermint's in, it's in the soothing blend, which for doTERRA is deep blue. It's also in the tension blend, which is past tense for doTERRA, which is really good for headaches, migraines, tension headaches. It's in breathe, which is the respiratory blend. That one works really well. That is a staple in our house because with the heat in the winter, the dry heat that comes from the wood burning stove and stuff, you kind of sometimes have to clean all of that out of your nasal cavity, and so that peppermint that's in the breathe works really well for that.
Master Cat wants to know, because they were gone because their baby was crying, would it work to plant it around the house and barn, or do you need the oil? I would say you could do both.
Yeah, I mean, you could plant peppermint, like we were talking about this with companion gardening. You can put peppermint out in your garden to kind of deter mice and ants and things like that, but what I would say is that the cost of peppermint is not extremely high, and the small amount that you need to accomplish these things, it's well worth it. It's a lot cheaper and obviously a lot healthier than pesticides or anything of that nature. So yeah, you could definitely grow it, but I think the potency of the oil might be a lot more effective. Peppermint's also in the digestive blend, which works really good for indigestion and so on. That's the one that my daughter uses. She actually keeps a small little bottle of it in her purse because she gets car sick very easily. And the thing about stuff that's aromatherapy, a lot of times you don't even have to use the oil. All you have to do is open the bottle, and you've got that concentration of it that all you have to do is cup your hands over the bottle and you'll be able to inhale it, and that's enough, and you didn't even use any of the drops.
C. Dean, what helps with plantar, P-L-A-N,
Plantar's words.
plantar's problems? Husband is a jarhead, and I'm having trouble with this.
Is it plantar fasciitis? Is that what she's talking about?
She just said that. Dean, can you be a little bit more specific,
I think
please?
she's talking about plantar fasciitis. It's a foot thing. Let me look and see if I got anything right off the rip.
Susan, the next Insomnia Club will be tomorrow, starting at 9.
Plantar fasciitis. Yeah, I have a few oils for that. Basil, arbor vitae, white white fir. Just send me an email at bigbearfarmsoils@hotmail.com and we can talk a little bit more about it.
Dean, we'll hook you up. Devil dog to devil dog.
And then the last one is Aroma Touch, which is like the massage blend, which makes sense because that kind of opens everything up. One thing I didn't mention, peppermint works really good to drive other oils in. So if you layer other oils for their different properties and then put the peppermint in, it actually helps to drive the oil down further into the skin. And that's pretty much all I got. So,
okay, good. So everybody knows what time it is. Everybody that left early is going to miss out. Okay.
Is the person that won lemongrass last week still in the room?
I don't know.
If you won lemongrass, and don't be cheesy and everybody say me, I'll remember.
Susan Campbell wants to know if you can talk about tea tree oil soon.
I will.
Okay.
I can put that on for next week. We'll talk about Melaleuca next week.
Okay. You guys know what time it is. Then we're going to pick a number between 1 and 50. Amanda's Garden said it was her.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
So, the moment I lower this pen, start putting in your numbers for the free sample of peppermint oil. Then you're going to guess a number between 1 and 50.
They all do it.
Seriously?
Always.
I'm a hex is the last one. Wait for it.
32. Oh, whoa. Not yet. Oh, God, no. Oh, my God, they go so fast. Wow, y'all are taking forever this time. What did you say? To what? Come on, guys.
Right
there. Patrick Nobles. Good job, Patrick.
Patrick Nobles.
Okay, so peppermint goes to Patrick. Patrick, send me an email at bigbearfarmsoils@hotmail.com and give me your address so that I can send it to you. Now, guys, the ones that haven't gotten your samples yet, I had to order sample bottles, so be patient with me. I promise it's coming. I just had to wait for it all to get here.
So, way to go, Patrick.
And Patrick's been pretty faithful to our shows, so I was really glad to see him get that. That's cool. Okay, so anybody have
So in case anybody was making sure it wasn't rigged, right there the number. Patrick guessed 10.
Whoa.
10.
There's the 10. Okay.
So,
okay. There we go. Thank you, Kitty. Alright, anybody have any last minute questions before I turn it in for the night?
okay, we're going to take a few questions and then we're going to call it for the night. We'll take about 5 questions and then we'll call it. No Insomnia Club tonight. I'm going to go chat with Wayne. And Insomnia Club tomorrow at 9.
I don't see any questions. I guess we covered it all.
Went.
Oh.
See, here it goes.
He's crying. I don't want to go. I don't want you to go. Where's the best place to get the oil? Send me an email and I will hook you up. Good
Big
night,
Bear
Steve.
Farms Oils at hotmail.com.
Yes, Amanda, it does have antifungal properties. That's what I was talking about. Candida or Candida, whatever you want to call it. It works pretty well against that. It's been known to work against E. coli, staph, all of that. have a question from me in Skype. Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll just go to bed and watch reruns.
Anything good for preventing / calming after nightmares?
Yes. Lavender's really good. Serenity would probably be my best recommendation. And if you're really having problems, Serenity and lavender together works really well. So I really, lavender, Lang & Lang's good, but the smell, it's definitely a different smell. And the thing about Lang & Lang is it has some properties that kind of might not work really great at sleepy time.
Angel Man, send me a message and I'll give you that answer. There's a couple of places where you can go and I'll hook you up.
Tequila. Yeah, Jack Daniels. Big Bear Farms Oils at hotmail.com.
Hook it up, kitty.
Yeah, Timothy, I hate that I have to try and crunch it all into an hour, but there's so much in all of these. So, but the cool thing about these is because of them they go into our video log, you'll be able to go back and watch it again if you need to. If there's something you felt like you missed, you can always go back and check it out. So,
Kitty, put up the oil email, please.
Does that go for night terrors? The night terrors, and Jason can attest to this, we combat that with, we diffuse in the air, and we also topically treat him as well. So we put lavender on his chest, and I put Serenity on his feet. Another thing I use a lot of times is Arbor Vitae or Clove. Those are both grounding. They work really well for that.
Cliffy, find me on Skype. It's just Big Bear Homestead.
So Park family, if you need more information, just go ahead and send it to my to that email, that Big Bear Farms Oils at Hotmail, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about that, because we have a lot of experience with that.
Yes, Minuteman, you can.
Yeah. We that's one thing, that's part of the reason why we got started teaching like this, because we noticed there's a lot of people that are dealing with that, and some of these oils do really well for Jason. He's kind of my guinea pig, and again, like I've said before, some of them might work for him that don't work for y'all, but there are so many of them that work that we're bound to find one for you.
On Tuesday in Insomnia Club, we're going to cover this pretty in depth in the beginning. That's why we're coming on at 9. Mama's going to come on and talk a lot about that stuff, what we use for me and the stuff that helped me get to where.
Yeah, the panic attacks, lavender, that's why we were talking earlier what would be like your introductory. Lavender, peppermint, and lemon. Those 3 will get you started. And my goal when we started with oils was to replace the stuff that's in our medicine cabinet, and some of these oils work really well for that. So that it definitely works.
Park family, I'd like to invite you to the Insomnia Club. I don't know if you're there. I think you're there, but definitely come by. Definitely be there tomorrow.
Well, Minuteman, we're gonna work on that. That's one of the things. One of the reasons I'm not getting like 5 or 6 sample bottles. I'm gonna get a big thing of sample bottles, because I'm finding that a lot of people here, I would much rather I just send you like a sample of something just to try it, and not worry about you having to try and buy a whole bottle and take the chance that it doesn't work. So know that I'm working on that. So if you guys have anything that's really a big problem that you're having a problem with, we'll try to knock it out.
Yeah, I just got heat up.
Yeah. there are Granny's Homestead. You're right.
She's a young lady. She's a young lady.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you guys for coming by. If you guys are new to us, please go on over and hit that subscribe button. We do appreciate it. I'm off to talk to Wayne, so y'all pray for Wayne and I as we talk and try to help Wayne through this. Don't forget, Insomnia Club tomorrow, starting at 9. Mom's going to talk about more oils and PTSD. And then we will cut loose later. Also, don't forget, Wednesday morning, Go for Green has their aquaponics class in the morning for tomorrow. I'm sorry, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Thursday, Brad has his tech talk. And then after Brad is always the man we love from Alaska, Grandpa.
When is the arms guy? Is that tomorrow morning?
I think so.
I think, yeah.
I think.
Just everybody go and check thehomesteadnetwork.com. You'll find all of the channel lineups there. And what I love that they've done with that, if you go to the Showtimes tab, they actually have a link to each channel. So when you go to that time, you can click on the link and it'll take you straight over to it, so you don't have to fumble around trying to find it.
So, and don't forget us on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll be there Saturday.
All right, y'all. Love you. Thanks for coming by. And like always, have a nice day.